My name is Sara Safari and I was born in Iran. I'm from Middle East. 3 years ago I decided to climb Mount Everest without any experience in mountain climbing. I was in a 3-day seminar, and on the 3rd day of the seminar, the leader asked us, come up with a project that's so big and huge beyond yourself that you can't even imagine thinking about doing it, something impossible that you're 100% sure it's beyond you and you won't be able to do it. And I'm thinking and thinking, somebody behind me started talking about Everest. And I thought, this is perfect. I hate cold weather. I never went camping before, and I never slept in the sleeping bag. Everest would be the most impossible project that I can pick.
Okay. No more than that. Good job.
Looking good, Sara.
And they said, just take the first step. So I went back home and I called and I Googled how to climb Everest. And the very first link that showed up, I called the phone number and I told them I want to climb Everest. What should I do? So they told me, have you ever climbed anything? And I said, no, I haven't climbed anything before. And it was very funny for them. Somebody who hasn't climbed with no experience wants to climb Everest. I had zero experience in mountain climbing. I never climbed anything. I never even slept in a sleeping bag. And when I decided to climb Mount Everest, I had to train really hard. I had to prepare myself to climb so many mountains all over the world to be able to prepare for Everest. I was in Ecuador climbing Antisana, and it was 2 a.m. in the middle of the night. I couldn't see anything. The only light I had was my headlight, and the wind was really, really strong, and it was pushing me to the right side. I had a really bad headache. It was my first time being at 17,000 feet. And I was nauseous, I was thirsty, hungry, tired. I couldn't go up anymore. And I was really scared. I thought the wind is so strong, it's gonna push me down very soon. I decided to look down, see what's on my right hand side, that in case the wind pushes me down, where I end up, even though I was on a rope. I look down and the only light is my headlight. I look down and I see this deep crevasse that I couldn't even see the bottom. That terrified me, scared me so bad that I forgot that I'm tired and I have a headache. I just climbed up really fast. I go up and I got to the edge and I sat down and I thought, this is too risky. I'm killing myself here. Mountain climbing is not for me. Let's forget about Everest. That's for mountain climbers. The fear that I experienced in that moment was so overwhelming that I thought, this is not me. I'm not a mountain climber, and I need to stop. Back to my routine life, I stored all my gear and I was thinking how to get rid of them. A few weeks later, I met the founder of the organization Empower Nepali Girls. Dr. Jeffrey Kottler.
It was 16 years ago that I visited Nepal for the first time, doing some research with a colleague of mine and a doctoral student of mine on maternal mortality. And it was during that first visit to a village near the Indian border that I first learned that girls were disappearing, that they were being trafficked across the border into India, being sold as slaves, as sex slaves, with the life expectancy of 3 or 4 years before they die. And it was initially a fairly impulsive gesture to help one little girl that kind of blossomed into the foundation that we have today. 15 years later, we now have 300 girls we support in more than 14 villages around the country. The first girl that we ever supported is the first girl in her village to ever go on for higher education.
Dr. Kottler told me about the girls. When I heard their story, I was so heartbroken. I was so sad, and I was so moved that I wanted to do something for them. And I kept thinking, what can I do for them? And I thought, Everest. This time, I'm not going to climb Everest just for myself, sitting up there at 29,000 feet. This time would be for the girls, to bring education for them and provide new opportunities.
So the whole idea, the whole movement has just grown so much through volunteer efforts. You know, we don't have an office, we don't have paid staff, everybody's a volunteer. And especially our girls have never encountered women before working in professions. They didn't even know that was possible, that girls or women were allowed to have jobs, were allowed to work. And Sara's been such an important influence on the children, not just because she's an electrical engineer, not just because she's a professor of computer science and of engineering at a university, but she's this, you know, incredibly tough, strong, resilient mountain climber, you know, that's climbed some of the highest mountains in the world.
Now that I knew I'm gonna climb Everest for the girls, I had more energy and more motivation. I started my training all over again, and I started planning my 60-day climb for Everest. It took us 10 days to get to Everest Base Camp, and for 10 days we were setting up, getting ready, acclimatize, and practice crossing ladders that are coming up. There are 50 ladders between base camp and camp 1, and we were practicing in the next 10 days how to cross them. After 22 days, now it was time to go up. April 25th, 2015. On that day, a powerful earthquake rocked Nepal. I was climbing a vertical ladder. I was on an ice wall when the 7-pointed earthquake hit us. The whole wall started shaking left and right, and left and right. A big piece of ice, the size of a car, tumbled down on my left-hand side. An ice tower collapsed on my right-hand side. It roared like a rocket taking off. I was terrified. I was so scared.
Whoa, whoa.
I couldn't see anything. There was so much snow in the air, I couldn't even breathe. I covered my nose and my mouth, and I thought, what should I do? I climbed up fast, past the edge, clipped myself to the anchor, and I didn't know what else to do. I kicked my feet to the wall to fix myself. I wrapped the rope around my arms, but I couldn't think of anything else to do. I felt so sad, so scared. I thought, this is the end. I'm gonna be buried alive under the avalanche. I was sad, scared, but I felt a little peace knowing that I'm dying for a good cause. After 2 to 3 minutes, everything stopped. My team and I were spared, and we got rescued in the next 7 days. Finally, helicopter come rescued us after 2 nights, and when we got to the base camp, just seeing the happy base camp 2 days ago when we were leaving the base camp, everybody was so happy and excited. The season is starting, loud music, everybody's so energetic, getting ready for the climb, and now it was all dead. Crashed tents, crashed cameras, books and food, and everything all over the mountain. It was just unbelievable. I can't even, right now, when I think back, like right now I can not understand it. It's just something that I think I would like process and process and process it forever. I couldn't wait to go back down and see how the girls are doing. I raised all this money for them to go to school. Now they might not be alive. They don't have their houses. They lost their schools. So I go visit the girls in different parts of town with the other climbers in my team, and the girls who lost their houses, I ask them, where do you sleep? What do you do for the past 7 days? Where do you get food from? And some of them, they showed me this piece of dirt and they said, we sleep on dirt. And I asked, like, where's your pillow? Where's your blanket, food, water? How do you use the restroom? None of that. They were in a very bad situation, but they were still trying to comfort me, to help me, to tell me it's okay if I couldn't climb Everest. And I asked them how they're feeling, how they're doing, what did they do in the past 7 days, and they were just saying positive words. I didn't hear even a negative word from them saying, complaining about not having water, not having food. Since I'm back from Everest in the past few months, what I've been doing is just fundraising to build back the houses and the schools and help them to start a regular life. I didn't summit Mount Everest, but I summit another mountain of bringing funds and awareness for the girls in Nepal to get education so that they don't become victims of human trafficking or forced to get married at a very young age. We are lucky that we are here in United States and we have so much opportunities. But the kids there, they don't have the same opportunities, but they are as smart, as beautiful and kind, and they deserve the same.